Okay, Michelle Bachmann, let's go at it, woman to woman, okay? The downgrading of our credit lies squarely at your feet and at the feet of the other members of the Tea Party who refused to raise the debt ceiling, as it has been raised 39 times since 1980, including 18 times under your savior, President Reagan, and 7 under George Bush. But you and your cronies decided you would make a spectacle and hold the nation hostage to your whims. I really believe somebody was telling me a joke when I heard that you had the temerity to call on President Obama to fire U.S. Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner because of the downgrade by S&P, as if maybe you had nothing to do with this debacle. You know what, Ms. Bachmann? Actions have consequences, okay? And your refusal to raise the debt limit is an action you knowingly took, knowing full well of the consequences, and this has had a great consequence. You and your other Tea Party compadres seem to know better than any of the government officials, economists, financial writers, pretty much anybody with half a brain who ever took an economics course with any kind of basic knowledge in economics or finance, that you are playing with fire. I know it's all the rage nowadays to make stuff up, to ignore your own role in events, but you're not getting away with this obfuscation of the facts. Try as you might to sugarcoat it, try as you might to lay the blame where it does not belong, and try as you might to make believe it didn't happen, it won't work. Not this time, okay? Let me go through some of the findings in the S&P report. It's really a pretty interesting document. You might want to consider reading it. Let's start with the first part, okay? It says the deal that the Congress and the administration agree to falls short of the amount we believe would stabilize the economy and the government. Gee, maybe that $4 trillion deal that the president was trying to advocate could have been a good thing. What do you think? Then, the statutory debt ceiling and the threat of default have become political bargaining chips in the debate over fiscal policy. Now, who is it again that used the debt ceiling as a bargaining chip? It's not the Democrats. S&P goes on to say that their concern is that new revenues have dropped down on the menu of policy options. Boy, who was it that demanded revenue increases? Oh, it was the president. It was not the Tea Party. It was not the Republicans. And who was it that continued to repeat the same talking point over and over and over and over again by you and deadbeat dad Joe Walsh? The problem is our spending. It's not a lack of revenue. The problem is spending, not a lack of revenue. Yes, Ms. Bachmann, that would be you and the Tea Party. S&P says again, no measures to raise taxes or otherwise enhance revenues have been put on the table. But you seem to know better, don't you? It is the revenues, stupid. Standard & Poor's says that because of your intransigence, they have changed their assumption. Okay? Because the majority of Republicans in Congress continue to resist any measure that would raise revenues. Want me to repeat that? The majority of Republicans, that's the only party that's called out in this report. The majority of Republicans in Congress continue to resist any measure that would raise revenues. Hello? And then Standard & Poor's says we can improve our rating if the 2001 and 2003 tax cuts, that would be the Bush-era tax cuts for high earners, lapse from 2013 onwards, as the administration is advocating. That's the administration, not the Tea Party, not the Republicans, the administration. That would be the Democrats. Now again, who's been calling to repeal the tax cuts? Right, it's the Democrats. And who's been trying to protect the high earners, the owners of the luxury jets? Yeah, that's the Tea Party. And guess what, Ms. Bachmann? You are one of the high earners. In case you haven't gotten my point, okay? Our president has tried again and again and again to reason with the unreasonable, and that would be you. He requested a $4 trillion grand deal. You'd have none of it. He requested a clean debt ceiling increase. No, you said no. He requested revenue increases to be even on the table. You refused. He wants to eliminate the Bush-era tax cuts. You refuse. You obviously prefer to send America down the wrong path. So, Ms. Bachmann, rather than calling on somebody to fire somebody, I request that you resign, okay? Since it's clear you do not have America's best interest at heart. You are willing to send our country into economic and financial freefall and chaos for political gain. And I would argue, Congresswoman Bachmann, that that is treason.